It's funny how people are still complaining, like, oh, there's so many characters in this movie and stuff.
Oh,
If you've
geez.
been paying attention to what James has told us about the story, the other superheroes are kind of essential to the story he's telling, because he
Yeah.
says this is a world where superheroes have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And kindness has kind of gotten swept under the rug,
Right.
that it's become more of a business than just being good for the sake of being good. Superman is trying to set the example of being good for good's sake. And you can't do that if there's no other superheroes in the
Yes.
movie.
It's flipping the model. Post-Crisis on Infinite Earths at DC, the timeline, of course, everything got shifted to where Superman is not the first superhero. In my mind, Superman was
Right.
always the first, and then they all
Yeah.
came after. But I still like the idea that, in a philosophical sense, they're flipping the model, that superheroism has become, like you say, it's been corporatized. They're like, I assume, kind of like a police force, and they
Mm-hmm.
may enjoy helping people or saving people, but it's just like, we go do our job.
Yeah.
And Superman's a guy that's like, whoa, the message is important, and
Yeah.
belief is important, and just being a decent human being is important.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love that he stands out, even if he wasn't the first. He's going to be something that others should emulate and aspire to.
Yes.
So that's the way it always should be. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
I am fully on board with just what I see as DC Comics Presents. That's what this movie feels like. I loved that comic. Robin, my brother, loved Brave and the Bold when in the 70s when we were kids, and that was the one where every month Batman teamed up with a different person from the DC universe. I love those two. They're great. Especially every time he teamed up with Aquaman and had to swim in the ocean with his big ass cape. Because I was like, how the hell is he able to do that? But anyway, I always loved those. But DC Comics Presents was the Superman version. And every month it was Superman teaming up with, he would have an issue with Batgirl. Superman and Batgirl solve a thing. Next one would be like Metamorpho, whoever. It would be like the weirdest combinations. And I loved it because it just underlines how big that universe is. And if they're not on the Justice League, if they're not teamed up in a team book, you would hardly ever see Superman cross paths with the Creeper, But for one issue of DC Comics Presents, they would, and you'd be like, oh, that's awesome, man. So that movie that James Gunn's creating looks like, to me, like DC Comics Presents the movie where Superman's your main, but all these people existing in the same universe are all part of the plot, and
Mm-hmm.
some may help, some may hinder, some may just be dropped in as an Easter egg for something he's going to do later in a different movie or a TV show. I don't care, man. It's just like, I want to live there.
Yes, I know.